Hello, ho, ho, and welcome to A Review for Christmas. My name is Ariel.
And I'm Chelsea.
I feel like I slurred that. A Review for Christmas.
I heard it.
A Review for Christmas. Hello, guys. Hello.
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 All right. Hello. What are we doing? Christmas at Pemberley. That's today's
Christmas at Pemberley
episode.
Manor.
Shut up, really?
Yes.
I'll write it on my notes because I've just been calling it at Pemberley, but Pemberley Manor makes more sense.
Yes, it's the Pemberley Manor.
It's a manor, and they do call it by its full title.
A lot.
throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Before we get started, I wanted to give Chelsea a gift.
Oh boy. I'm nervous.
It's not anything wild, but when we were doing an episode, we had this great idea because we're trying not to interrupt each other as much. We're trying to let each other talk more, you know? So we had this great idea of like holding up a little thingy to say, hey, I have a comment wand.
I didn't bring any scrunchies.
That's all right. Close your eyes. Okay. There's your comment wand.
Merry Christmas.
It's so cute. If you guys are listening and not watching, it is a little Christmas tree that I've made out of origami paper that I found in the basement and some green painter's tape and a little Christmas. Oh, and this stick. These little sticks are, you're doing great. Chelsea's practicing. Don't hit yourself. These things will poke an eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out.
The sticks they were from little pumpkins that I had from Halloween. I took the pumpkin off and I put it
pumpkin.
little Christmas tree. So here's a little comment stick in case I'm talking and you want to say something.
Oh my God,
okay?
I love it. This is so funny.
Let's get it on. This is
We've
great.
started on a great note.
All right, Christmas at Pemberley Manor. As you all know, this is one that I get to host because it's Austen related, and that's the only thing I care about in life.
It's really true.
Okay, let's start with the cast. I did something great. I wrote down the phonetic spelling of names where I thought I was going to get it wrong.
Oh, okay.
I did not need to phonetically spell Michael, but I did need to phonetically spell Rady.
Oh, I would have said Rady.
I would have called him Rady or Roddy.
Roddy.
But it is Rady. What I did is
Michael
I went on
Rady.
to like an interview with them and had them say their own. I was like, well, how do they say their name?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I was able to figure out that Stephen Huszar. Shoot. I wrote it phonetically in my notes.
Oh, boy. I didn't write it down.
I will never get it. He's my Court Overstreet.
You know, he's not, though. Sorry, Court Overstreet. I'm really sorry.
But yeah, no. Michael Rady. He plays William Darcy. This is great. Everybody.
No Fitz. No Fitz in this one.
No, because no one's named Fitzwilliam.
I
have yet to watch a Austen rendition where they don't call him William. Because it'd be weird to call. Well, I guess you.
Well, Fitzwilliam's a crazy name. Respectfully, Jane Austen.
Fitzwilliam. Hey, there are two people named Fitzwilliam in this book. If you know, you know. So anyway, Mr. William Darcy is played by Michael Rady. He's done a fair amount of Hallmark, including a movie called You're Baking Me Crazy.
Stop. I'm
I'm
going to go home and watch it.
It's called
podcast adjourned. I'm going to.
You're Baking Me Crazy. Podcast adjourned. We're done. Get Miranda. Let's go. He's done a lot of TV. He has also done, it's actually his first IMDb credit was Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yes, it was.
And Chelsea.
Yes, it was.
I don't know if I've seen that movie. I've read the book a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've seen the movie. Do you remember?
He's Alexis Bledel's Greek love interest.
Costas?
Costas.
Costas?
He's Costas.
Costas. I don't know.
That's who he is.
Is he a cutie pie?
So I think I vaguely mentioned this to you before we put the kibosh on discussing, or we try not to discuss the films outside of the podcast.
Yes, we try to.
So that we can save the content for you all and not just regurgitate our nonsense.
Yeah, so we're not always saying, because I said this already.
Yeah, I know you heard this before. He did not, I don't remember him making much of an impression on me.
Yeah.
But I was definitely more interested in the girls' stories anyway of that.
He was a little blandy pandy.
But yeah, I remember him being cute.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like good choice of a Greek
choice.
boy. In this movie, he made quite the impression on me.
Oh my goodness. If anyone was watching my Instagram while I was watching this, actually no, I did not put this part on my Instagram. I sent it just in a snap to Chelsea where I'm laying sprawled on the table just like, can we please talk about Mr. Darcy?
Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy.
Mr.
Oh
Darcy,
my gosh. I wrote, watch out Chris Palaha. There's a new guy in town and his name is Michael I Never Blink.
He never blinks.
But that's how
Michael,
he gets
I'm a lizard ratty.
But that's what's hot. Like
The unflinching eye contact is pretty intense. And every character gets blessed by it.
Yeah.
It's not even just
it's just how he speaks.
Elizabeth.
And I did want to make a note about something. I don't know why I'm telling you now. I'm just going to write it down. That later we will talk about this. Thank you. As long as I can read it, that's all that matters.
I can't read it, but I do like it.
Next up is Elizabeth Bennet.
Yes.
Aptly named, perfectly for her character, Elizabeth Bennet.
Great.
You know what's great? Didn't look up how to phonetically say her name.
I think it's just Lowndes.
Lowndes.
Or Lowndes.
Jessica Lowndes.
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 Yes.
Lowndes.
D-E-S.
D-E-S.
Yeah.
Lowndes. Yes, she is best known, I assume, for 90210.
That's where I knew her
A
from.
show I never watched. She did 114 episodes.
Yep, she was start to finish. She was a character named, I believe, Silver.
Oh, that's a name.
Was her character name?
She's a pony.
She definitely did her fair share of singing.
She is a singer. She has music video
She is a
credits on her
singer.
IMDb, and
She's working late
sings
because
a
she's a
bit.
singer.
Oh, sweet Lord.
I'm going to try to put a Me Espresso reference into every single episode.
I liked that song more than I expected to like that
It's
song.
so good. It's a bop.
You know, I live outside of the mainstream bubble, but I did
I think Sabrina
like that
Carpenter
song.
would make it into your bubble.
I turned her off when Spotify gave her to me the other day.
Wow.
But I might have just been like, wow, I know this is Sabrina Carpenter. I can't go in the mainstream bubble. I have to stay out of it. Skip. Also, I don't like when my good time is interrupted by new things.
That's why I don't like Spotify. Sorry.
We can't get into that right now.
Nope. Argument for a different day.
I'm sorry. I'm going to Michael Rady right now. Rady. And just say, we're not going to talk about that right now. No blinks. Unblinkingly. Oh, and I think, so she's done Hallmark, but I think she does Great American Family.
Okay.
That's all I know. Then I didn't include many people outside because we rarely do, but I did include Caroline Bingley, the bad boss. Austen points for her name being Caroline Bingley. I don't know why I wrote Austen. I wrote Austen points when they do good Austen things.
Ooh, okay.
And I think I enjoyed that she was literally the name of the character, Caroline Bingley. Yep, there we go. So let me explain
So
to you guys.
I thought they thought when I realized her last name was Bingley, I thought they put her in place of Charles Bingley, which made no sense because she was
a bad guy.
Awful. Yeah. And also Charles Bingley is like attached at Darcy's hip. Yeah. And I guess when she got there, she was.
We're going to talk about this now.
I understand.
I heard Chelsea reference, and I got that she thought that this was Charles Bingley.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it taps into a big issue I have with the cast, with the writing choices. When I say big, I mean it's abnormally, upsettingly, unconditionally, not the right word. What's the word I want? Unreasonable. It's on a reasonably large issue that I have.
Let the record show Ariel has real big feelings.
Always. My friends make fun of me constantly about
We do.
but they have, I'm just going to get into this issue. So we have William Darcy, perfectly named because what are you going to do?
Correct.
Don't call him Fitzy. Unless your name is Fitzy, and then comment because you have a cool name. And how is your life with that name? Then we have Elizabeth Bennet. Then we have Caroline Bingley. They name Jane, her assistant, instead of making it Jane Bennet, which would be her sister. They named her Jane Lucas, which is Charlotte Lucas. I'm 27 and I'm not married. So they named her Jane Lucas. I enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. They have a little reference tapped in there, thrown in there, of a groundskeeper named Willoughby. That's a reference to Sense and Sensibility. Like, they're making references. It's banging. Like, they're in Lambton. Lambton's our location. That's where Pemberley is. This is great. They have the assistant of William Darcy be named Travis.
So I thought Travis was going to be Charlie to be Bingley.
It makes no sense.
Especially because...
It's like
spoilers, Charles and Jane end up together, and in this they do too.
It's like they got concussed at the typewriter. I was like, what happened? We could have named...
I'm at the typewriter and I'm concussed.
It's like, who passed out? You're making all of these great reference choices, and you throw in Travis instead of Charles.
Yeah.
They're syllables away. No, they're letters away from each other.
Yeah.
I was like, it bugged the life
Yeah,
out of
no,
me.
I was confused.
I was so upset. Anyway, Caroline Bingley.
Yes.
Now that I've gotten that out of my
Yes.
system, she's Meredith. She's Ice Woman.
Yep.
In Parent Trap.
She's a character who, now being a full-blown adult, I don't hate. I have a lot of sympathy for Meredith from
The
Parent
internet
Trap.
has really. I am not team Meredith is a good guy.
No, I don't think she's a
wasn't
good
convinced
guy.
Yet. See, here's my problem with Meredith. All right, let's friggin' get into it for a second. Here's my thing. I totally get the argument that she's just a grown woman trying to be with her man, and then the kids are ruining it.
But isn't there also like a pretty gross age gap between her as Meredith and the
You
dad?
know that I don't care about age gaps, but here's my thing.
I do.
Here's my thing. The entire argument falls apart when we're in the freaking golf cart and we have the Ice Woman and the Proud of It babe. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, this woman is a gold digger. And I mean that as a fellow gold digger. Like,
Game, a recognized game.
yeah, she's looking real familiar. Like,
It's like looking in a mirror.
but I'm just saying,
Yes.
I get it, but also let's just be real. She doesn't have to be great just to say we acknowledge that she is being bullied by children, and I would never want
Right.
a lizard in my mouth. Sorry about that. So, do I have to jingle it out? What did I just say?
No, we have not sworn yet.
Good. Lizard.
I'm high-fiving myself for not having a potty mouth. Season 4, Chelsea turns over a new leaf.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. You are the resident swearer.
I know. And the word I made up for Caroline was pretty impressive.
Chelsea doesn't like Caroline. She was also, if any of you guys care, she was on Dynasty. She was in Rami Michelle's high school reunion.
Oh, I love that movie.
And oh my God, so much stuff is what I wrote. So there you go.
Here we go.
Let's get into the movie.
Let's do it.
We're on track. We're on time. Let's go. So we're in New York.
Yes, NYC, baby.
I figured that out only because that ice skating rink that's in New York, I don't know where
In
it is.
Rockefeller?
There we go. I don't know geography.
I figured it out because of the park. I don't know of a single other city in the world that has a giant park with a huge lake in it, like Central Park.
Yeah.
But for a second I was like, is this New York or Chicago? And I was like, the fact that you don't know
That's a problem.
is a problem.
Yeah, I went, I know that ice skating rink is in every Christmas movie where someone's in New York. They go to the ice skating rink or we look at it.
Yep.
And so I went, New York.
Rockefeller.
That's how I figured it out. And we're at Elite Events, which is where Elizabeth Bennet works.
Yes, she does.
With her boss, Caroline Bingley. Bad boss, big city bad boss. I'm going to put that on a shirt.
Big city bad boss. So yeah, sorry, in Elite Events.
Oh, yeah.
Meeting the boss.
We're getting some establishing that Elizabeth likes to color code her binders.
Yep.
You know, she's the pretty nerd, I guess.
Yeah.
She really likes organizing.
Yep.
And Caroline is the owner of Elite Events. And it's really funny because I was like, am I drunk? Why is this scene confusing to me?
It was confusing.
It was a confusing
Yeah.
scene, right?
Yep.
I couldn't exactly figure out. I had to watch it twice to go, what am I talking about? What they're saying in this scene is that Elizabeth is going to Lambden, Connecticut.
Correct.
Not Landon, who I was like, who's Landon? I wrote literally, who's Landon?
My husband from Kim K. Hollywood.
Oh my God. She's going to Lambden, Connecticut to put on an event for her friend George, the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, George is George Wickham.
Ah, yes.
And
Lovely.
he's not Wickham in the credits. And I went, why not just go full throttle? It's probably because they made him a good guy and not a bad guy.
Did make him a good guy. I
have feelings
have
about him.
feelings about George.
Yeah. But anyway, naturally, Elizabeth loves Christmas.
Yes.
Caroline does not. She has a great line where she's like, Christmas isn't for like 2 weeks, ladies. Like, I don't know. She's just.
Oh, yeah. They were decorating the tree, and she was like, Christmas isn't for another 2 weeks. Don't decorate on like office time or something. It was crazy.
So, Caroline's like, I'm going to leave you going to Lambden. Don't mess this up. I won't have time to fix it for you. I'm doing other things. And then she's like, man, you really love Christmas, Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is like, I do love Christmas. And that was it. She's like, who's this guy, George? What's the thing with George? She's like, there's nothing with George. But I did write Santa asking for my true love this year.
Which, okay, I've only seen the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie. Okay. So I haven't read the books. I haven't read the miniseries. Read the miniseries.
I haven't read the whole thing, the subtitles.
Yeah. Anyone who knows me knows I hate watching things with captions. But from 2005, Pride and Prejudice, true love didn't seem to be on Lizzie's bucket list.
Not at all.
So I was like, Lizzie asked Santa for true love. Like I said it like a what?
A what?
A what?
What?
And so that's when I knew, I was like, obviously we need to depart from the
Canon
for the Christmas movie. I was like...
And there's some things that are super canon that I'll talk about.
Yeah.
That I was like, this was a good choice, but you're very correct.
I remember being like,
Lizzie
what?
is not about true love. No. Lizzie is, well, no. Okay, so here's the thing. Lizzie is about true love, totally, because she's not about money. So she's like, you need to love the person you're with even if you're poor. That's cool. But Lizzie is not looking for true love.
That's a good point.
Lizzie's just trying to be an independent woman out here on the English
streets.
Countryside. You know, or the streets of the English countryside.
The big bad streets of the English countryside.
I also was like, why are you telling your boss you wrote a letter to Santa?
It was so strange. I would never.
Your boss is so judgy, and you were like, but I wrote a letter to Santa asking for my true love.
I'm an adult woman writing letters to Santa.
Which, like, if it works, it works. I'll try it out this year and let you guys know.
I don't think Santa comes to Hanukkah celebrators.
But I'm nice.
You are nice. She's going to be on the nice list. All right, never mind.
Christmas podcast. I feel like I'm an honorable mention.
All right.
Also, she wrote the letter because her 5-year-old niece.
Oh, yeah. They wrote letters, I think, together. Cute.
Yeah, the niece didn't want to write a letter, and so Lizzie wrote it. By the way, I'm going to call her Lizzie.
Yeah.
She's not Lizzie in this movie.
No, they
She's
definitely call her Elizabeth, yeah.
They call her Elizabeth. And I've watched so much Pride and Prejudice that I can't help but call her Lizzie. Anytime I watch something Pride and Prejudice, I'm like, oh, it's Lizzie. But her name's Elizabeth. Oh, yeah. I just think it's funny. Like, this scene really laid it thick on the stereotype of a main woman in a Christmas movie. She loves Christmas. She's, like, nerdy, organized, like, on top of things. They call her the behind-the-scenes type. She's a behind-the-scenes type. How many times are we going to call her that in this movie? I'm a behind-the-scenes type. But she's not. Like, you take one glance at her, and like, you're not a behind-the-scenes type. That's actually something I think they did better in pre-2010 movies, because, like, the main girl was allowed to be, like I'm thinking of Christmas Kiss 1.
She was a behind-the-scenes type, yes.
You know? And I think now, because we want the leading lady to be, like, relatable, beautiful, they're never behind the scenes type.
No.
That girl's going to walk into a party.
I thought I heard something click.
It did click. Guys, the board clicked.
I think we're okay.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't redone an episode before.
True.
But yeah, like, this chick's not behind the scenes, but she is in this. Meanwhile, we go to a building called Darcy Holdings in big letters on the front of the building. And William Darcy and his new assistant, Travis. I wrote Austen Loss instead of an Austin Point. It's an Austin Loss. They're leaving the building, and Darcy's just a good man. I don't know. I felt like he was a good man. Do you disagree with me?
I don't. So again, my only frame of reference
Is the movie.
is Matthew McFadden, right?
McFadden. Yeah.
I just wrote, Darcy should not be this kind.
He's so kind.
He's really kind.
He's really kind.
And my understanding is, it's not that Darcy's not kind. It's that he's like a behind the scenes type. Actually, now that I say that out loud, because also like Matthew McFadden, his Darcy wasn't, I don't know. The scene where he insults Lizzie's looks really early on was unnecessary in my opinion.
Not handsome enough to tempt him?
Yeah, barely tolerable, if you will.
Barely tolerable, in case you don't know. So this was the point that I was going to make.
Okay.
I did actually think about him in terms of Darcy. Where would I rate him in all the Darcys that I've seen?
Okay.
I've seen a fair amount of Darcys.
Yep.
And I actually really liked his Darcy.
I really liked him.
Here's the thing, is I did like that he was kind, because one thing that I think happens is, like, both Colin Firth and Matthew McFadden have stated that they played Darcy as like a sad emo boy. Mm-hmm. And I really liked that he took Darcy as like a good man who doesn't know, like, he like his whole thing they set up early is that he doesn't do jokes. Like,
right.
His jokes don't land. And I liked that he was just, Pandy, that he was just like awkward.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, but he was a good man. And
Yeah,
Darcy,
I really liked
Darcy
him.
would be at Pemberley, not Darcy when he's at, wow, Ariel, what's it called? Wherever Elizabeth lives, and I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I should know. It's embarrassing.
All I keep wanting to say is Winterfell, which is Game of Thrones. So we're for sure
not in Winterfell.
I'm in different lore entirely.
So anyway, Darcy's really nice. Travis is freaking out.
So nervous.
He's so nervous, but he's willing to work through Christmas.
Yep.
And they're going to take a helicopter to Lambton.
Because he's selling Pemberley Manor.
He is. Yes. Yep. He's selling the board said it's time to sell Pemberley Manor, and we kind of find out that like Darcy spent his Christmases there with his aunt and uncle at Pemberley. So it's not his home, it's his aunt and uncle's home, but he has good memories there that do not include his workaholic father. And this was when I fell in love with this Darcy, was this joke when he's like, Travis, get on the helicopter. It's only scary when they go upside down.
I cracked up.
It was
I thought all of his jokes landed.
Oh, and just the way he said it, like it was just this like slick delivery where I was like, where are you coming from?
Who are you?
What is going on, you little cutie? But it's not a cutie because George is a cutie. Darcy is woof.
I want to go back to, Caroline and Elizabeth, because right as the elevator closed on Caroline, she said to Elizabeth, do a good job. Your job is counting on this. And it's a callback to a line that is said.
She says that? Mm-hmm. I did not realize that.
Yep, and it's a callback to a line that literally happens soon.
Yeah, it'll happen soon.
Or a call forward.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. Oh, yeah. As the elevator's closing, she's like, your job depends on it.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because you bet I screen recorded that part. Because the tension in that later scene is.
Yep.
Okay, I literally. Don't ask me why. I was going to say the tension in that scene is like a cheesy burrito.
Ooh.
What on
I think
earth?
I want Taco Bell for dinner.
I think you should do it. I know how much you love T-Bell.
I wanted it last night.
And it didn't happen?
Truly, I had like one of my first food experiences where I was like, oh, rich people don't pay to get full.
You know, I had one of those. I had a rich dinner and I was like, wow, I'm underwhelmed, and I don't know what to do with it.
Everything I ate, don't get me wrong, was delicious.
Was it incredible? That's a Chelsea descriptor.
I don't know. So sorry to tangent this early. The dish I had to have when I read the menu, and I was like, I guess I'm going to this place, was listed as roasted baby corn. And
you had to have roasted baby corn?
I'm so obsessed with baby corn.
You are.
I'm really obsessed with it.
You are.
And they were like, it's like an elote style, but like with a Japanese fusion.
Lord.
And I was like,
That's
yes.
built for you.
And I took a picture of it. I'll show you later because obviously my phone is recording this. But that lived up to the expectation I built in my head.
That's so funny.
Unlike, you know how when we went to Spirit Elephant. Yeah. And I wanted to get the corn ribs. And the guy was like, if you're a meat eater, like this is really going to underwhelm you. Get something else. Do you remember this? Yeah. So, but this because I love corn.
He didn't realize you were a corn eater.
He did not realize I was a corn eater. I'm corny.
Anyway, back in Lambton. By the way, it took me until this scene to realize they were at Lambton, like in Lambton.
Miranda, it's okay. Keep going.
No, you're fine.
We're in Lambton.
I did not realize, and I know Pride and Prejudice. I wrote P&P points. I don't like
P&P
that.
points.
I didn't like it at all. I said, don't do that again. And George Wickham is the mayor of Lambton. And it's great because he's known Darcy since law school, so Darcy and Wickham do know each other from childhood. So this was incorrect, but Wickham does say he wants to go into law.
Like in P&P?
Yes, in Pride and Prejudice, he's meant for the church, and then he says, instead, give me money and I'll go into law, because that was like the other option, is he could get money and then go into law if he wanted to. So he does that and then flounce it, and I don't even know if Austenites let me know what exactly happened.
What happened to George Wickham?
It was bad. He became a playboy, then went after Georgiana, which is not a character. We didn't put Georgiana.
I think we're okay.
And I wrote, is George a good man?
I wrote poor George.
George is so cute, like sweet, cute. He's really handsome. He's really nice. He's really funny.
He's
and
so in love with Lizzie.
So in love with
He's
Lizzie.
so in love with Lizzie.
And he has this line about like Lizzie is doing this whole event. Jane's like, well, it's gonna be a lot. Like she's doing a lot of stuff. There's like 3 days. Yes.
My note about that, because Jane grew on me.
You
I
did
did not like her at
Jane?
first because I wrote, why are all the blonde women in this Scrooges?
Yeah, it was kind of funny that Jane was like, this is big ideas.
We only do 1 day. Why are we doing 5?
Yeah, exactly. And he's so in love with her. And he's like, he got so-and-so from Action News. I love the way he says Action News. And I was like, you're very handsome. And I'm like, please become a bad guy or I'm going to root for you. I did root for him, and he never became a bad guy.
Oh, I rooted for Darcy.
No, of course, because I'm canonical, but I was like, come on, give him a love interest or something good.
I know. The fact that he didn't end up with a love interest was disappointing.
But he's going to find a
Sorry,
nice woman.
spoilers.
Sorry, spoilers. Yeah, he'll find a nice woman.
Yeah.
Anyway, he campaigned on making big changes, and Elizabeth's going to make that happen for him. And I just realized he probably pictured like getting married and her being by his side.
He's trying to get that second date.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, unimportant Lizzie totally Ubers by Pemberley Manor and is like, look how pretty it is. And there's a strange man in front of it who looks like a caretaker, groundskeeper. Great. I wrote skip this and then I didn't. So Elizabeth meets up with George and Jane Lucas. And George is really cute. And they went to college together. So that's something that's not real. That's not canonical.
Right.
Not lore accurate.
Lore accurate.
But they had the cutest meet cute. I would be open to it. They met in the classic literature section of the college bookstore. Oh my God, gimme. And they bonded over their love of English authors, British writer.
Didn't they specifically
British
mention
authors.
Jane Eyre?
He asked her out on a date by writing the invitation in the cover of a copy of Jane Eyre, which I was like, so cute, but please don't do that because that could take down the value of the book in the long run. And if
Don't deface
I don't like when it
literature.
happens. It happened in Irish Wish, where he writes his phone number in the cover of the book.
If the author put his own phone number in the cover of a book, I think that would raise the value exponentially.
Whoa, why didn't we make that point during Irish Wish?
We're stupid.
We're stupid.
Because we're dummies.
I just feel like it didn't work out for him. She now has a permanent reminder, but she didn't mind that they're just friends now.
Right.
He's the one who was like, I had to pick being friends with her.
Or not having her at all.
I know, and then he picked having her in his life.
Oh gosh, okay.
So I was open to that meet cute, but maybe write it on a Post-it. And dated once. They decided they were better friends, and they're like doing this thing where they're like establishing that if Elizabeth wants something, she gets it, and that's going to be a thing with Darcy too. If Darcy wants something, he gets it. And going to the Pride and Prejudice movie, they're both so stubborn.
Yeah,
That's kind of part of their thing.
that is part of their
They're
thing.
both really stubborn, and once their good opinion is lost, it's lost forever. Now, it's time to go. Everyone's got to go get coffee from this little coffee truck stand thingy, this little elote cart, but for coffee. And Darcy drives up in his black car. He drinks black coffee, and he says to Travis is like, "How do you want your coffee?" He's like, "Black." He said, "Okay, I'll never forget that." And he said, "Good, because your job depends on it." And
So it's the exact same thing that Caroline said. Darcy's kidding.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm kidding," and then he goes, "All right, Darcy, stop making jokes." He like says to himself, like, "Don't make any jokes."
So good.
I was just admitted.
I was like, I hate how much I love this man right now.
I was such a fan.
Yeah, he had me from the beginning.
But so Travis is so freaked out
Yep.
that he's gonna ruin this. He jumps line. He's like, "Can I please get in front of like the 5 people in front of him, including the 3 Wickham, Ben, Lizzie, and Jane. And Lizzie has to call him out. And by the way, she's a behind the scenes type. They don't call people out for cutting in line. They like talk to their friends and say how rude it was and bring it up for the next 4 months. But like, we don't say, "Excuse me."
There's a line.
Like, he knows there's a line. And he's like, "Sorry, my boss is going to fire me if I don't get this. My job's on the line." What does Lizzie do? She's got to go justice it up. Oh, God.
I wrote in all caps, confront his Lizzie.
Oh my God, it was
Because like clearly this
unnecessary.
activated her because that's what her boss said to her. And she was like, bosses shouldn't do that. And she can't confront her own bad boss because she'd lose her job. So that she gets to confront somebody. Like that's the dream, truly. If you have like your own boss that you can't do anything about, being able to yell at someone else's boss is kind of dope.
Your dream is to take your anger of one person
Out on another?
a different person who didn't.
As long as they did the same thing, yes.
As long as they were truly
As long
worthy
as
of the anger.
Yes, as if they had done something equitable. I'm not just going to be mean to someone.
No.
But if I saw some intern being like, if I didn't get this coffee right now, he was going to fire me, I'd be like, let's figure this out.
Let's go, because I can't talk to the person I really want
Yep.
to. You know what? As long as you're honest, I
Yeah.
like it. I thought it was insane. I was like, okay,
So
but I did not skip through it, which is new for me, because I was like, ooh,
Yeah, you're not allowed
tension.
to- this is your film, firstly.
I know, but I skip. I'm like, tension, no thank you. I am so glad I did not skip
It's so
this.
good.
The tension was sizzling.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what she said, but she's like, it's Christmas time, like, don't act like this. And he's like, so does this apply to all year, or can I ask for coffee in January too? And I was like, get it, Darcy.
Well, it's also, he told her, he was like, I was kidding. And she
kidding.
was like, well, clearly he didn't know that.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, my jokes don't do
land.
good.
This is one
I don't do good comedy.
This one thing they did adjust is like a real Darcy would be so cold you wouldn't know.
Right.
And I was like, but I was glad they didn't, because I would have been like annoyed. Like, ugh, we've got to be like.
And he still had like enough sass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt like he gave it back, but he was still cute.
And it ends with, I wrote this quote, to recap, I should be nicer. And I just wrote, I'm obsessed with him.
Obsessed.
He might be very high on the men I would marry
he's-
from the season.
I've thought about it for days. Would I marry
Yeah.
him? And he's pretty high on the 10-day list.
Yeah.
I also love that Travis gets him back in the car. He's like, Travis, you're not fired. Because he was like, Travis, like, I don't know who that woman is. I'm so sorry. But he says, I don't know who that woman is. Darcy just looks ahead and goes, that's too bad. And I was like, I'm a puddle on the ground.
I had big feelings in that moment.
Oh my God.
When he said that's too bad, I was like,
Yeah. Also, George isn't going to tell Lizzie that that's Mr. Darcy. And I was like, George.
well, so,
She interrupted him too much.
exactly. She
said,
didn't
"Don't
have a
tell me."
flag. And she was like, is what you're going to say about to ruin how good I feel? And he was like, yes. And she's like, then keep it to yourself. And I was like,
Ah,
truly?
hands tied.
Without like, if this was just a real life interaction and she was probably never going to see him again, great. In the context of the film, wild.
Picture like you're watching the news and he pops up and you realize that's the man that you yelled at. That's a story you tell at every dinner party for the rest of your life.
Yep. Like,
That
I yelled at a
time.
billionaire.
Exactly. That time I yelled at him. Oh, I wrote Pemberley with all Y's.
I wrote, I was expecting more from the Manor.
I was too.
And then they showed us way more of the Manor.
I think the Manor in the opening shots was underwhelming.
Yeah.
And then we get to like the back where there's a stable. Not
Yep.
a stable, but it's like a garage that feels like a stable.
I think there were horses, weren't? Oh, well, there was the horse-drawn carriage later.
Yeah, but I don't know if there
But
was.
yeah, and also like the double like column. Like once we saw more of it, I was like, you know what? My opinion has changed.
Yeah.
It is stunning.
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 And I think it's got a lot of acreage.
Yes.
So, Big Grumpy Darcy is there, and they meet the groundskeeper, Chris. And I was like, Santa. He's the new caretaker. He has taken over for the old caretaker, Willoughby. Actually, now that I think about it, interesting choice. There was also a lot more Austen characters. Like, what if it was Collins? You could have done Collins. Just saying.
Okay.
And this was a good moment of Darcy being cold, because he was
Yep.
like, why are you putting up Christmas decorations? And he's like, well, it's Christmas time. He's like, we're selling the house. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
But we get like a little bit about how Darcy, had good times here at Pemberley.
He did.
And he's going to sell because the board says sell.
The board voted.
And the BOD said so. And we tour Pemberley, and he's like, looks up at the staircase, and he's like, it's a beautiful staircase. And I'm like, yes, staircase reveal with a dress. No. Irrelevant. Why did you even include that? Doesn't matter. She has never at one point in this movie worn a dress worthy of walking down a staircase.
No, she has not.
And and I was pretty disappointed to have my time wasted talking about something we're not going to use in the future. Back in town, George and Lizzie are having dinner, and I write, George is not a villain, still not a villain.
No,
And Lizzie's in logistics, whatever that means.
I'm in operations. I get it.
This scene doesn't really matter. It just talks about how they broke up, and you kind of just get more of like,
George really wants her, and she's
really-
like, "You're such a good friend."
she just so ignorantly, and I mean ignorant in terms of has no idea,
Right.
that she's just
blind.
friend zoning him over and over and over and over. Oh, and I wrote down that this guy who plays George, I didn't write his name down. That's rude of me. He could play like Superman.
Yes.
I was like,
He
should
had
be
a Clark
cast,
Kent vibe.
Yeah, like he should be cast as like a Superman, a Captain America, very much a Superman, but
Yeah.
like.
Nerd to hunk. Take the glasses
Yes.
off.
Oh my God. One day I'm going to come on with my glasses on. You guys aren't going to know who I am.
Yeah, she's gonna be a stranger.
And it'd be like, who's the new host?
The fact that it was just glasses
That's all it was.
as a disguise is crazy.
Well, we've been doing it to women forever. Just take your glasses off. You know those scenes where they're just like, wait a second. No
There.
glasses. Like, what? All right. Oh yeah. Town Square. There's been a main break.
A water main break.
Water main break, and now the gazebo's in a hole.
We're like, where is it? It's in the hole.
There's a hole in the middle of
There's
the
a
town
hole
square.
in the middle of town square.
Oh, there's a hole. There's a hole. So they can't have the Christmas festival there.
Jane has my favorite line of the whole movie. We could put some lights on the hole.
Yeah.
Oh, on the big hole.
The big hole?
She specifies that it's a big hole.
And Lizzie, of course, is like, it's really funny. There was some good script moments.
Yes.
They're like, Jane's like, I have some options. She's like, we could use the field in the back of farmer so-and-so's place. We just have to move the cows. We could use the bowling alley parking lot. And these are just not good enough for Lizzie. No. Apparently, she's never been to a small town because you got to take what you can get, honey.
Small town good.
Small town good.
Yeah.
Small town good roads for parties.
Block party, baby.
Block parties.
Put some lights on the big hole. Have the party right in front of it.
Front of the big hole. Just put a sign that says don't go in the big hole.
Or do.
Or do. But Lizzie's like,
Yeah.
what about that beautiful estate that I drove by? Let's go on someone's property. George is like bad, and Jane is like good. Because I think Jane wants Lizzie to find out that
Jane is an agent of chaos.
which is funny because she's not. She's like so innocent.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, she's stirring up real trouble. Mm-hmm. So, of course, Lizzie, they all go there, and Lizzie's got to go just straight up to the house. And, of course, Darcy opens the door and stares right into her eyes. This is when I started noticing that he doesn't blink. It was this scene. Oh, you're doing it to me. You're doing it to me. I noticed. So they go. Obviously, she marches her way into his house and
Absolutely.
is like, she's kind of calling him out, like, why are you selling it? Like, she's like, why are you
None of your
selling
business.
this? It's like, nah, it's not your property. And she's like, it should be donated or sold to somebody who cares. Which, why didn't we think about that? I don't know. Because they're big.
They want
city
money.
bad. Yeah.
The BOD wants money.
And he doesn't want to jeopardize the sale of the house, so he doesn't want to have a community thing there, which didn't totally make sense to me because I was like, wouldn't that be a good look?
Well, it's interesting. I just remembered I watched a movie called Christmas at the Drive-In, and at one point they're trying to save a drive-in theater, and they host a movie night, and it scares the buyers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
Oh.
So I can understand both sides.
Darcy smart.
Both of them.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, they have now realized that
Yeah.
they are antagonistic to each other. This is the antagonistic
Yes.
woman and the antagonistic man. But it doesn't stop Lizzie, the behind-the-scenes type, from barreling through the whole conversation, calling him out on his jingle. But he doesn't give in. He doesn't give a yuck about it.
Yeah, I wrote trying to force him to use his home is weird.
It's weird.
Like, knows a complete sentence.
Yeah,
Especially in
when
the-
she wants it, she gets it.
Yeah.
And
She's a
it's
Lou.
even going to get worse later. But he does have a line that I love. She said something like, do you remember me talking about the Christmas spirit or something? And he goes, vividly. And I'm like, I'm trying to talk less just about how attractive I find people.
Right.
But in this one, it's a little difficult.
It's hard.
For me. It's a little difficult for me. And they're playing on it. I think that's the whole point. That's why you cast these people. So people like me can be like, wow, I want to watch this movie so I can swoon over the things he says.
Right.
Oh, she doesn't succeed.
No.
Just wrap
He
that
says
up.
no.
He says no. She leaves. That's the end of it. And we get a good old-fashioned walking through the Christmas tree lot with George and Lizzie. This is how most couples fall in love.
Yep.
Or
Not
George.
these two.
It's not going to work. And she's just like, how can we make him do this? Can we sue him for lack of Christmas spirit? Like, she is all sorts of mess, man.
She's doing the most.
Christmas can't happen in a bowling alley parking lot. Christmas happens everywhere, Lizzie.
Christmas is all around us, Lizzie.
Yeah, watch Love Actually once, and you'll get it. We're never going to cover Love Actually on the show, but
No.
pick up pieces as we go along, and you might understand how we feel. But yeah, the whole conversation is she wants to make it, oh, I get it. He does mention, George, she's like, who's buying the property?
Yeah.
That's how far she's going to go. He's like some firm in San Francisco or something like that. And she's like, idea.
She's like, they're still open.
Oh my God, this woman. Now, it's like the middle of the night when we get to Pemberley now.
Yep.
And Darcy's walking around wearing a suit, reading papers like a normal person in the middle of the night. This is just so like, look, he's all about work.
This is what I do.
It's 9 o'clock and he's still reading papers and walking around in a full tux. Not tux, but like a full suit.
Full suit.
And, oh man, there's Christmas music playing in his house, by the way.
Yep.
Because Christopher, the groundskeeper who lives in the house, is playing old records. And he comes up and you think he's going to be rude. He's not rude. He's never rude. He's never rude.
He's never rude.
But they talk about how just more memories about Pemberley, and that's really what he's going to talk about anytime him and Chris are in the room.
Right.
It's memories. I think Chris's whole point is just to be like, remember the good times?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure this man is Santa.
Oh, he is. Santa. He is. But his whole point is just be like, remember the good times back in the day with your aunt when you were happy?
Yep.
But dun dun dun, Travis runs in and he's like, people who are buying the house sent us a message. They got a complaint about the house being sold. And so they want Darcy to engender goodwill with the town
by having the Christmas festival. Yes.
So she basically is like forces.
Bullied him. She bullied him. I wrote she is a bully.
And then she's there. The email is sent and she's at the front door and she grabs his hand to bring him out. And I went, oh, she touched him.
Yeah, actually, I would have liked a hand flex.
I was like, is this a shout out to the hand flex? And she's just planning everything. Like, she knows he's gotten the email. She's like, go, 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 which is weird. Like, okay, psychic. What if they didn't check his email? She's like, no, he's a workaholic. He'll know by now. And, of course, he just gives in on the one condition, they keep his name out of it.
Right. So what I thought was so funny is he agrees and says that, and she's like, why won't you just, like, do that? And then she goes, oh, you said yes. But she's getting ready to, like, continue arguing with him, which was so funny, and then realized that he said,
it was precious.
Okay.
It was a precious
It was so good.
Oh,
Their banter, their chemistry was really good. Their banter was really good. Like, I really liked them.
Yeah. And, of course, he's calling her Miss Bennet, and she says, you can call me Elizabeth, because we're working on this together, even though he said don't include me in anything.
Right.
But we'll get to that. Anyway, 4 days later.
Yes.
It's taken 4 days for the lawyers to get everything done. Lizzie and Jane are outside talking to a bunch of volunteers, and Darcy's leaving, and she's like, no, you have to help me. And I was like, is Lizzie laying game on this man?
Yeah, I think she knows what she wants.
Because she, like, immediately does not allow him to leave her side the whole time. She's like, you have to be with me for this. The next time you see him, he's carrying boxes up to his head for this woman. Also, why was everything individually wrapped? Why are you buying gift boxes of things? Like, it was really cute that he has like 20 bags and 40 gift boxes, but I was like,
and she's carrying a single bag.
But I'm like, that's not how you wrap Christmas lights. Like, what are you guys buying that had to be individually boxed? It was very odd.
And he was, and then he's like, I think you're using me for my car. And she's like, I am.
I am. I loved that. At this point, he was like really comfortable with her, and he got even more attractive because he was comfy. They had comfy chemistry at this point. But yeah, what they do from now on is shop together. Yeah. And I was like, Lizzie's reeling this man in. She's like, I have already crossed the boundary of fighting with him. I will now make him my husband. And he's like, she will now make me her husband.
I'm here for it.
Every time he wants to leave, she's like, no, you can't leave. Like, okay.
Yeah, leave my sight and I will riot in the streets.
Riot. And they play like confirm or deny, and she says all these things that she knows about him just so they can know each other a little bit.
Yeah, I actually like that scene too, because he was like, it's not all real, and then everything she said, he was like, okay, that is real.
He dated 2 models. I love that she's like, did you really date 2 models?
He's a billionaire.
Of course he
did. Like, literally, he's a billionaire. He makes more than $10,000 a year.
By the way, in the background this whole time, Assistant Jane and Assistant Travis are falling in love. That's all that really matters. Oh my God, Chelsea's into it. Oh my goodness.
He's like, you're so good at what you do. And so she's like, I'm going to help you be a better assistant. Yes. And then they're like, all about it.
How did he also get that job if he's not a very good assistant? Family connections?
Nepotism, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's got to be. Please give me some. And we're still doing more shopping and learning about each other. Oh, this was cute. He doesn't have a Christmas tree for himself because he's one person. So naturally, she barges her way into his home, and they do Christmas tree trimming together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the next thing, she's in his home, and she's made him buy a tree, and I'm like, that's her husband. She's claimed him.
Yeah.
She's marked her territory.
Yeah. She's peed on him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's how you do it, right? That's how I got Kyle.
Oh, so good. Oh, and by the way, from this point on, anytime they're near each other, he is going to want to make out with her so hard, and it's not going to happen, but it is on his face. Like, every scene, he does the, like, look down at her lip and look back up. Nonstop, and I'm like, wow, you guys, you are doing great.
Yep. I wrote the chemistry is real.
The chemistry is real. And Elizabeth thinks he's funny.
Yeah.
She laughs at his jokes, which is like a subtly big little connection. There you go. I got through that. They're going to make out. He did Christmas trees when he was young. They're going to make out. He's got to get back to work. She wants him to kiss her. It won't happen, and he tells her goodbye. That was it. Of course, in the next scene, she's dramatic as heck and says he kicked her out.
I wrote, she's dramatic, and I love it. Yeah, he was like, and George was like, what? And she's like, well, he didn't.
Yeah, like, she's like, he threw me out of the house. And George is like, he threw you out? No, George, he didn't throw it out.
He said a polite good night.
Yeah, he politely was like, I have to get back to work, good night. That was it.
He threw me out.
Oh my God. And she's like, I don't want to jeopardize the festival. You mean jeopardize your chances of marrying him? Come on.
Yeah.
And George is like, come on.
Is that all? Is it really just the festival? Please tell me it's just the festival.
And this is where, please tell me. And sorry, George. This is where I thought he was going to start Wickhaming, and he didn't. I mean, I guess he kind of did, but he didn't. Because she's like, I don't want to jeopardize the festival. Like, tell me about him. Or like she like talks about him being cold or something. Yeah. And this is when George Wickham would have been like, well, let me tell you, he's ruined my life.
Yep.
But what he says is, let me tell you, he's very charitable and he does a lot of good things.
Yep.
Like they just 180'd.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, he's a good man.
I really liked when he was like, no, he's like given so much money. He does this and that. And this was his chance to like ruin it, and he doesn't.
Because he's a good man.
He's a good man. He's a good man and a good friend.
Because George is a good man and a good friend. Meanwhile, Darcy and Santa are inside, as they are wont to do throughout this movie, talking about how Darcy's aunt and uncle used to, when he was a kid, take him on sleigh rides. Now, I was thinking they pulled him around on the little, like, disc. No, this is so cute. Darcy comes out, and he's like, hey, I have an idea.
Yeah.
That's going to be later. Hold it in the back of your brain. Because actually what happens is a little panache with the ganache. Darcy comes out and he's like, how you doing, buddy? To Lizzie. And she's like, oh, she's out? She's out in his backyard after dark doing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, go home. And Darcy's like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, working on my to-do list calms me down. He's like, well, what would you be doing if you were going to relax? And she's like, baking cookies. And he's like, Pemberley has a kitchen. My sweet Lord. I want this whole interaction to be my life this Christmas.
I was like, what? You're there alone. And he was like, Chris bought all the ingredients.
Yeah.
And I was like, for why though? I mean, like, I'm happy they're there. I'm happy we had obviously they got cheer points for tree trimming and baking cookies.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get singing, you know, like the whole kit and caboodle. But it was just so funny where he was like, we have a kitchen. I was like, he's peeing on her too. Like, this is mutual territory marking in this. They cannot stay away from each other, which I think is kind of canon in some way. Like, don't they just like keep ending up in the same places? It's not the same. It's not on purpose like it is in this scenario, but they keep.
And when I make you watch the miniseries,
I'm excited.
Colin Firth has some moments that are very like this,
wonderful.
where he's like shows up and actually you could say there is some similarity to, he's like, I don't interact well with strangers, and she's like, well, you should practice. And you know when he goes to say like, I love you, actually what's happening in the I don't know if they do this in the movie, but in the miniseries they'll do it. He actually starts showing up at the house that she's at and having really awkward like 10-minute conversations where like he doesn't state it, but you realize he's trying to practice. So he's showing up to talk to her even though he doesn't know what to say.
And it's almost like he's practicing Christmas spirit or something with her, or like being nicer.
Him trying to show up is like how Darcy was like, oh, she said I need to practice. I'm going to show up even though I don't know what I'm doing. It's freaking precious. It's so awkward and beautiful. Oh, God, they're making cookies. And she starts singing to herself. What does she sing?
Oh, holy night.
It's just like this.
The stars are brightly
just
shining.
singing, and he's standing there doing things, and she's acting like this is just normal. This is just regular. Like she's just singing, and then he's like, "You have a good voice," and she's like, exactly, Pandy." She lightly barks at him.
She lightly barks. It's just so funny. She's like, oh, I don't really sing. And I talked to Ariel about this a little bit. This was one of the things where I was like, I hate when people do this in movies or real life, where they're like, we don't really sing. And then they're singing like, it's Britney. But like, if you actually have some sort of public fear of singing, you're not going to randomly sing in front of your crush while baking cookies.
And you made the best example. Someone who like is nervous about singing would be like, I'm baking cookies.
Yeah.
Like, exactly, Pandy.
She gets it.
She'd loudly bark.
Yeah. Now she's like, yes. And also, if you were going to do a Christmas song, wouldn't you do like Jingle Bells?
Exactly. Like something jolly, not Oh Holy Night.
Yeah. No, it was so strange. But it was to establish, as we've discussed, this actress is a professional singer.
Yes.
And it's to establish she can sing for a much later thing that's about to happen.
And it's cute where he's like, and she's like, singing's intimidating. It's like, well, not really.
Yeah, you seem fine.
You seem like you want him to say you have a good voice, which I know. I was 16
Fishing for
once.
compliments.
I was 16.
I still sometimes I'm like, oh, am I beautiful?
Oh yeah, right.
What do you mean?
Oh God, I've got stories. I'm trying not to tangent as much.
I know. The tangents are what keep people here.
Leave it in the comments if that's at all accurate, because now these are on YouTube.
I know.
Still 2 seconds from making out at all times.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, does he say this? She was like, if you weren't captain of industry, William Darcy, what would you do? And I think he goes, bake cookies. And I was like, thank you, Batman. And then there's like just cute banter. He's like, are you mocking my decorating skills?
Yep, and he's doing a bad job.
It's cute. And like Chris walks in and he like lets him be and doesn't interrupt. And I'm like, can Santa come and do this for me this Christmas? I'll write a freaking letter. I'll write 12 letters.
You should write a letter to Santa.
I'll write a letter every month for the rest of the year. We'll start an experiment. I was saying to my sister, can we make a movie about the person who has written a letter like every year for like 10 years and Santa still hasn't done it, and this is the year he finally does?
Yeah. Well, we have to wait till the timing's right.
Yeah.
Santa can't just give you what you want.
Hey, if you got a big wish, we got to get all the things together.
It could be the right place, wrong time, and it might not work out.
I heard something that actually really stuck with me. She was like, it's better to be single at 30. No, married at 37 than married at 30 and divorced at 37 and having to start all over. And I went, that sunk into my soul. Thank you. Because I would much not want to be divorced at 37 and having to start over.
Yep.
Starting over at 30 was enough. All right. Look at my notes. Just Jane and Lizzie talking about the men they're into. They threw out all the main characters in a room so that we could just say what we already know, which is that Jane loves Travis and Lizzie loves Darcy, and neither of them are going to say anything about it.
Correct.
That's it.
Yep.
There's no point to that scene. That's it. We know this already. Fill in time, because we can't just keep having them walk through the Christmas tree thing. We coulda. They needed some hijinks. That would have done it. Back at the fun coffee station, doing the same thing. Jane loves Travis. Oh, and then there's a little bit of George and...
I wrote this bro heart to heart. That's all I wrote.
It is a bro
was just a bro heart to
They're
heart.
like, George's like, you really want to sell Pemberley? And Darcy is like, yeah. And George is like, think about it. That's it.
Well, but Darcy also tells him to ask for that second date with Lizzie.
I forgot that Darcy is kind of going for it. They have two scenes where Darcy's like, you should really go for it.
Yeah. And there's a part of me that like, is he doing that as like an act of self-preservation because he wants to be with her? Or is it like, if she says no to him,
he'll know?
I
think it's...
But I also thought maybe it was just friendship.
I've been the Darcy, and I've been like, yeah, ask out that person that I kind of like, because I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
And they make me happy, so I can live with it. And then maybe it's easier if he's with someone if she's with someone you told him to be with.
Yeah.
Her to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you instructed it, it doesn't hurt as much when they don't marry you after you've beat on them. Please don't take that out of context. Please don't take that out of context. Oh, God, it's time to get the sled.
Yep.
So remember how he's talking about the sled? It's a carriage sled. Like, it's real. It's big. It's not huge. A little disc. It's not a plastic thing with ropes on it.
Yep.
And frickin' Lizzie's out in the yard singing again.
Yep.
And Santa's like, you're a great singer. Like, great.
Yep.
Good guys, but you don't want to sing.
We're teeing this up.
Oh, and we start using a quote. Like, this little phrase gets dropped in. Things we love are never far away.
Oh, yeah.
I do not understand how this affects anything other than they're trying to hint.
It's not Jane Austen's most powerful
well-known quote. Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding.
I do not think I've ever heard anyone say that things we love are never far away. I've read each book 3 times. I don't think it shows up. But if it is, Austenites, correct me. I trust you. Anyway, it was just kind of funny. Santa says that to her. And then Darcy shows up. So obviously it's supposed to be like, Darcy's not far away. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But he's like, let me distract you. And he brings her to the sleigh. Oh my God. And he smiles. Mm-hmm. I think this might be the first time we see him like
really smile.
And he looked really happy. And he's like, we can do this with it. We can have people like
take out carriage rides.
So sweet.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, how is there a whole hour left in this movie?
I only have like 4 notes left.
And
so
there's a whole hour left in this movie.
Oh my God.
Also,
we've been recording for 1 hour and 10.
Yeah. They're painting the carriage and they don't put smocks on, and I wanted to hit them. I was like, please stop painting with regular clothes on. You're insane.
In your street clothes.
And they talk about stupid ex-fiance things and ex-girlfriend things. Mm-hmm. And they both want to be in love again. And then, of course, she tells him about writing letters to Santa. True love.
Things I would never do for 100, Alex.
Right? By the way, this is fun. They have another Austen point. She's going to have an interview with a reporter from the Mansfield Press, which is Mansfield Park, which is a book. I was like, Austen point.
Oh, that's sweet.
She also says, he's like, oh, you're doing an interview. That's great. And she goes, anything for publicity. And I thought that was going to be the drama. Like she was going to betray him for publicity, or he was going to think that.
No.
Nope, didn't happen.
No.
Never happened.
I think Caroline's just the drama.
Caroline is the drama, and she's pretty mild. She's pretty mild drama.
I mean, I hated her, but yeah.
Later, everyone's outside, and he's working like a crazy man inside. He doesn't want to go out to watch the tree lighting because that's not him. And you know what, though? I kind of understood. At first, I was like, oh, he's being a Grinch. But then I was like, no, he's a billionaire.
And I think
he wants it to be about the tree, not about him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like Justin Bieber showing up. No one's going to pay attention to the tree. They're all going to be watching the Beeb.
It's true.
It's true.
I have nothing to add. This is a great analogy.
Yeah, I don't know. They have the tree lighting.
William Darcy is a modern day Justin Bieber. Or Justin Bieber's a modern day William Darcy.
Anyway, tree lighting's going on. Eliza and George are together. Darcy's watching from inside. Christopher Mann. He's like, go outside. Yeah. He tells her to go outside, so he does. That's it.
I mean, like, literally.
That's it.
I'm sorry, is Santa also, like, is this like a Sims and he's just controlling them? Like, anytime he tells them to do something, they just do it.
And they go outside.
Put him in a pool and take away the ladder and game over, babe.
I'm picturing the Santa pulling the ladder. And then Darcy just swimming in circles, just
till he
treading
drowns.
water and stopping and then going to the other side and stopping. And,
poor Sims.
So sad. Anyway, the lights were really underwhelming, people, the Christmas tree lights.
I did like the giant lever.
The giant lever was cute.
It was fun.
I did like that.
It was fun.
And Darcy and Lizzie at the end of it say, we make a good team. They shake hands, and a photographer takes a picture. And it winds up in the newspaper the next day.
It does.
And Caroline Bingley sees it in the newspaper, and somehow that triggers her. She's pissed. And it says, like, Darcy saves Christmas or something like that.
Billionaire.
Billionaire saves
Darcy
Christmas.
saves Christmas.
This triggers Caroline so much that she goes to Elizabeth's hotel in the middle of the night, calls her like 50 times, then shows up and is like, hey, this is bad. Because if we were working with Darcy, Mr. Darcy, because she's very big on him being Mr. Darcy, if we're working with Mr. Darcy, I should be the one handling it. This looks bad on my company. What do you think about that? Do you think it looks bad on our company?
I don't think so.
Me either.
I think if anything, it's any publicity for the company with a billionaire is probably pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
So I don't think it necessarily looked bad, but I can understand how a wench like Caroline Bingley would feel that way.
A full wench.
A full wench.
And it just seemed weird to me. It was like
she was really mean.
She was. And she was like, you should not be at the head of this. I should be at the head of this. Now
she was like, you're a behind the scenes person.
Yes, exactly.
But I thought it was I thought it was weird. I was like, I would expect a boss to be thrilled.
Yeah.
But it's also, and Elizabeth points this out so many times, Darcy's not the client.
No, exactly.
He has given his house up. He's not planning this party. He doesn't need It's not
about him.
It's not about him at all.
Yeah.
Which is like something he wants forever. And so her coming in and taking over and like being this person, like obviously ruins it for him. You know what I mean?
Yes, making it about him.
She's made it now. She's like, Mr. Darcy this, Mr. Darcy that. I'm taking it from here. We need silver tablecloths. I'm like, get out of here, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and of course she does Big City Christmas, which we all know is bad.
Yep.
It's minimalist, it's structured, it's not country, it's not cozy. And everyone's like, what's happening? And she's like, Caroline's handling it. I'm a behind the scenes person now.
And Darcy was like, I'm ready to tell her I'll only work with you. And she was like, you will cost me my job.
And you know what? He's really good about it. I kind of wanted him to press a little bit more. I thought he was too lackadaisical.
I thought he should have just done it anyway.
Yeah, I thought he was a little too much, like not enough. But the reason they do that is, so they go on the sleigh ride together. So Caroline's ruining everything.
Yep.
But Darcy's like, don't worry, let's go on this sleigh ride. Oh my God, give me this love story.
Except right before they get on, Caroline's like, we should chat after. And I was like, my anxiety would have ruined that sleigh ride.
Straight up, your anxiety, yes. I would have been able to compartmentalize. You would not.
Nope. I'd be sitting there the whole time, white knuckling it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, before this, just because it semi-matters, I think, Darcy and Lizzie do go out shopping for the 15th time, and she says, like, do you think George would like the scarf in this window? And he was like, yeah, I think he would. you're really fond of him. He's really fond of you. Like, he kind of helps him out. He's like, he's really fond of you. And she goes, I'm really fond of him. So I think now he's moved into she doesn't want me, which, are you insane? But okay.
Are you nutso bananas?
Exactly. But so that's it. That's a little important.
And I don't remember it's before the carriage ride, because I wrote the way she beams. Like, at one point he walks out and she just $1 million smile. And like, her teeth are so white, her lips are, she's gorgeous. This actress is stunning. And this smile, like, it like lit up her whole face. And I was like, dude,
she's into you.
Can you not,
she's
you don't see this?
So into you. But no, he doesn't see it.
Yeah, no.
All he sees is that when he said, you only appreciate me for my car again, she says, oh, and you're really good at carrying things. And he says, anything else? And she says, what else could there be? And he actually takes that seriously. I'm like, you guys are nothing but antagonistic to each other, like playfully antagonistic, and you think that's the reject. You have some self-esteem issues, my billionaire baby.
Probably.
Anyway, we're doing the sleigh thing. This is important. So they do the sleigh thing, and it's like really cute. And he's like, do you want a blanket? And they talk. I don't even know what they talk about.
I think just Caroline taking over and the festival and making sure it's good. And
yeah. But when they get off, Caroline's like, I should go on this thing too. Darcy, come with me. And he's like, oh, it's good. And she's like, no, Darcy, come with me. And he does. And then,
too accommodating, in my opinion.
That's what I think. But so that's why Lizzie now thinks he's into Caroline.
Right.
That's the tension we threw in there.
Yeah, I think a little bit. That was hard to read. I was like, is Caroline trying to get with him, or is she just trying to secure this client?
It was very difficult to figure out.
And I still don't know,
I think
honestly.
that could have been clearer.
Yeah.
I think she's just trying to secure the client.
Yeah.
But it could have been clearer. And this is going to be pretty based on appearance. But Caroline, she's so foxy, like she's kind of hot, that I think it's kind of hard to not think that she's going for it.
Right. When it could not be that at all. It's just she's a blonde bombshell.
Yeah, she's just got like the energy of Mr. Steal Your Girl, like God, why did I say that?
Make her cry.
That it just seems like it, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've skipped over a ton of stuff, but it's not really important.
That's all right.
What's important is that later in the night, their singer doesn't show up. And so Lizzie has to sing.
Right.
And Darcy leaves the house. But then Caroline comes out to bring him into the house so they can talk. And Lizzie sees that. And then she's like extra jealous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she misses that he like wanted to see her. And then when she comes into the house to say goodbye to him, Caroline's like, well, Mr. Darcy is in his office. Also, you're off the party.
Yep.
I'm going to take over for you. And you're not fired, but you should leave. She sends her home.
Crazy.
Which I was like, Lizzie, you have ways to speak to this man. Just do it.
She could have just gone up the stairs.
It was weird.
It's so scary. It's so scary the hold Caroline has over Lizzie.
Yeah. Especially when she seems to have no problems confronting people, especially a random billionaire.
Bosses are different. Bosses control your paycheck and your health benefits.
You're correct. Now, meanwhile, Chris is convincing Darcy that did you tell Elizabeth that you value her? Those are what he says. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he values her. You can get what you wish for, but you have to ask.
Yep.
So Darcy didn't do any wishing. Some of this has got catchy lines in it that don't make any actual sense.
No, the only person who wished was Lizzie for true love.
They're kind of like the writer sitting behind the keyboard going, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good line. Throw it in there.
Yeah.
I've been there. And so Darcy goes to find her, and George and Lizzie are walking through town, and Lizzie's friend zoning him as per usual, but they hug, and Darcy sees them hugging, and he's like, oh, she doesn't love me. And he leaves. He's like, prepare the helicopter for tomorrow.
The drama of it all.
The drama. So Lizzie shows up the next day. The festival is over.
It's being deconstructed.
Because
but there's
Darcy left.
There's supposed to be one more day.
Yeah. Well,
someone needs to read The Night Before Christmas on Christmas Eve. The news announcer guy.
Yeah. Mr.
Rod Stewart.
Action News.
No, I don't know. It's not correct at all.
But no, because Darcy has left, the people who are selling the place are like, well, we no longer care about the town.
Yep.
We've
We don't
taken
care about the
full
goodwill.
over. He's
Yeah,
evacuated.
because he signed the
Yeah.
there's except for one thing.
Except for
One document.
when we get to the helicopter. Oh no!
When they get back to New York, they're gonna. It's like the hold loss or whatever.
Well, they're not in New York. He's still in Lambton.
Right, but when he gets back to New York, there's one more document to sign.
The board of directors needs to sign off, but it won't happen until he gets to New York.
Right.
It's like this whole.
So they have to keep him from getting to New York.
Stop Darcy from leaving, and like Travis has to lie to him. And Travis is so funny because Travis's plan is, I'm going to keep him in the parking lot of the airport, and I'm going to tell him that the helicopter's not going to take off, and I'm going to hope that the pilot doesn't come to
see, like, why are you coming
they've been
here?
sitting there for hours, and he's like, why aren't we leaving? The snow's not that bad. And Travis is like, well, it is that bad. And I'm like, why has nobody intervened? Like, you can't get away with this. But Darcy's like, let's go. And Travis is like, no, I lied. And this is amazing because Travis is like, you can't leave because we have to take Christmas and Elizabeth loves you and blah, blah. And I went, what? And Darcy just goes, Elizabeth loves me.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is
I'm like kicking my feet like a little kid.
Like kicking your legs off the side of the chair. Like, they've got to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, back at Pemberley, Caroline's still there and is now a good guy.
Yeah, Caroline's like, well, let me help you.
You do care about Christmas. We will do this. Because
Like,
Lizzie's going to do it anyway.
Caroline's 180.
And she gets the entire town to help. Lizzie's got the whole town.
To put everything back together.
The festival back together. Because the festival's more important than the both of us. The entire town needs to experience the joy of Christmas. Okay.
The one day was probably fine.
Yeah, right? So naturally, all of the things we just described were happening during daytime. So next scene has to be nighttime.
Nighttime.
I love that they just skip. It's like, now it's night. It's been like 20 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
In
the winter, the sun does go down fast.
Yeah, okay. I'll take it. That's fine. Movie rules. Santa, they've now established Chris is playing Santa.
Yes.
Chris the groundskeeper.
When he appears, so I don't want to, go ahead.
It's okay. Santa gets sick, and so Chris takes over to play Santa, but now he's missing. We can't find him, and it's time for him to help with the kids.
Yep.
Also, the news anchor who's going to read A Night Before Christmas is not there, so Elizabeth's going to have to read it, but they're like, where's Santa? And we cut to Darcy and Travis, who are stuck in the snow.
That wasn't that bad.
This is Noel Diary rules, where they're like, watch out for the blizzard. It's going to keep you here all night. But also, feel free to walk around the town at night and watch a movie. Watch the entire It's a Wonderful Life while sitting outside. So, yeah, they're stuck in the light snow.
Yeah.
And Chris walks out of the darkness in his full Santa outfit. And he's basically like,
I can help.
I
can fix that.
Like, I'm Santa. And it has taken me this whole time, and you guys aren't falling in love, and I'm just trying to give Lizzie her Christmas wish. She wrote a letter. Like, he basically is like, I'm Santa, and I've been trying to make this happen for Lizzie the whole time, and you're ruining it.
Did you clock the jingle bell noise that appeared when he did?
No.
So there was a jingle, and it's so bad. It, like, the way we jingle out swear words sounds so much better than and ours is a free one we found on the internet. And I'm like, well, you guys could have done this. But, like, yeah, when he appears when they're in the snow, there's like a ch-ch-ch noise. Ding, 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 ding. So, yeah, I wrote Deus Ex Santa. See, I was like, and that's an S-tier joke. And Kyle went, it's fine.
That's funny.
It's funny.
That's so good. What's S-tier?
It's higher than A tier. Like, when it's an internet thing that I don't fully understand. Okay, S is just the highest level, and then it goes A, B, C, D, E, F.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know.
But you use it.
But I use it.
I would do the same thing.
I've watched many a YouTuber make their, like, tiered lists of food, and they, like, this, I rank this S tier. And I'm like, superior?
Maybe.
And super?
It's super tier.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? Yeah, Deus Ex Santa I thought was so funny.
It's great. It's a good joke.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad that they made a jingling noise because I wrote, at the festival, jingle, 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 it's Santa and Darcy. Maybe there was jingling noises, and that's why I wrote that. And of course, Darcy is going to be their celebrity guest to read A Night Before Christmas.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Also, he bought the house. The sale is off.
Yes. He decided, he told the board of directors, I'm keeping my house. Go
And
F yourselves. I didn't sign the hold harmless. That's what it's called.
The whole?
Hold harmless? It's like some sort of duck.
Oh.
Some sort of real estate legal.
Oh. Well, that. Yep.
I think that's the one they were supposed to sign.
Well, someone says the things you love are never too far away.
Never.
I'm like, what is this quote? So yeah, he reads the story. I was like, great, skip. And Travis shows up, him and Jane hug. Lizzie thanks Santa and says that she got what she wants for Christmas.
Yep.
And they kiss.
Yes.
They actually kissed twice. And I thought their second kiss was cuter than their first kiss.
Yep.
And that's the end of the movie, people.
That's it.
What are you looking up?
I looked up, oh no, I don't want to go to X. I looked up the quote.
The things you.
And the first thing is on X, a Hallmark channel.
Oh, so they were just probably quoting it on a tweet. Or
Yeah,
an X,
it doesn't look like it's a real thing.
Wow. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Let's rate this thing.
What do we rate this thing?
What do we rate this thing? I actually have pretty high scores.
I do too. I think I'm trying to figure out if my plot is too low.
I was thinking, is my plot too low? I put a 7.
I put a 7.
I think we stick with it. If we both did the same thing.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think maybe because they repeat a lot of things. There's a lot of like, there's not a whole lot of crazy happening.
Yeah, there's not a ton of conflict.
Yeah.
Um,
And just because we're using Jane Austen doesn't mean it's necessarily a creative.
Yeah, and I think they do take creative liberties from the Jane Austen story, which is I think why I didn't rate it lower.
It was an enjoyable movie.
I really liked it.
Liked it.
I was very entertained the whole time.
But there are other movies in this season that I think have a more interesting premise.
Yeah.
This wasn't like, and it was just like she falls in love with a billionaire and they save
Christmas.
They save a house.
We've saved Pemberley.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, 7 works for
7.
me. Romance.
Gave it a 9.
I gave it a 9 too. I said the tension was lit.
I'm kicking my feet again.
Yeah, I was into it.
Yeah, I was like, get together.
Please stare me
I
in the
believed
eyes
them.
and don't blink.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I believed them.
Though you know what? I thought about their relationship in the long term and I went, I don't know about it. I think it's good. I think she's going to have to conquer. I don't know, because she's so like, sometimes she says she's not aggressive and then sometimes she is. And I'm
Right.
like, she's going to have to always be aggressive.
She needs
So
to go to
maybe
therapy and get some self-awareness.
Yeah. You know what? Yes. Cheer.
I gave it a 9, but I feel like that's high.
I gave it a 10.
Oh.
But then, like, I'm more comfortable with a 9 because is 10 the feeling? 10 is a feeling, though, and I felt like it was very. I felt like
if
this
it felt
movie
like Christmas
was
to
Christmas.
you, then yeah,
They
keep
did
it.
like a ton of Christmas, so we'll keep it. It just feels so funny to give it a 10, but I also gave Love Lights Hanukkah a 10
Yeah, I've given Cheer 10 before
because they did everything.
Yeah,
they even talked about charity.
You're right.
Yeah, 10 is fine. How do you feel about acting?
I gave it a 9.
I gave it an 8. Yeah, I thought everybody. Oh my God, I feel like I say this every time. Everyone did well.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody did a good job. I didn't think anybody was dragging the cast down.
No.
I didn't feel like anybody was cast just to be cast, you know? Wow, this is going to get a high score.
It is going to get a high score. Plus. You gave it an 8, right?
I did give it an 8.
Okay. Your score is an 8.5. My score is an 8.5. This movie is an 8.5.
That's high.
It is high.
Look at that go. You know what? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
This was a good movie.
It absolutely was. I really enjoyed the whole thing. I thought the actors, their chemistry was on point. I thought it was extremely well cast. I thought it was extremely well acted. I loved Santa being around. I thought he was great.
He was fun.
Yeah, he was a nice little addition because at first I was like, oh, old groundkeeper. And then I was like, this is Santa Claus.
Yes.
I was like,
he's Santa.
He's Santa.
And you know, this is a movie that I would say if somebody wanted a Hallmark recommendation, I'd think this is a good one.
This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Especially like if you are a Jane Austen or Pride and Prejudice fan, there's a lot to really like from it without it like just being the book at Christmas time.
I think they respected the book.
Yeah, I think
the changes they made because they needed to make those changes, fine. But I thought they respected the book, and I thought I actually watched Death Comes to Pemberley right after I watched this, and I didn't like that Darcy as much as I like this Darcy.
Ooh.
And that was an actual Pride and Prejudice. And I was like, I thought they misinterpreted Darcy in that. Come at me. But
fight in the comments, baby.
yeah, like I thought they misinterpreted Darcy in that rendition, and I thought his interpretation of Darcy was really good. I thought they handled the tension between the two really well, and the only thing that really ground my gears was Travis. What in the heck? Name him Charles.
He should have been Charlie.
It's literally you could say, hi, my name is Travis, and people might go, Charles? Because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
For a second, I thought it was Travis, and I was like, oh, it's Travis.
Travis, that was dumb. So with
yeah.
that said, thanks for hanging out. Chelsea, take us out.
All right. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what day it is, no matter what time it is, no matter what month it is, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
Bye bye. Bing, bing. Kicking my legs.
Bing, wee.
Bing, wee.
It's a fun name to say.